What's going on, everybody? Hey, just wanted to hop on with a quick message before we started the episode today. One, I had a little bit of audio problems when I was recording this episode because we had set up all the equipment at my parents' house, so I didn't really have time to EQ it all and balance it all out and all that kind of stuff. So sorry about that. It's a little rough for the first 5-10 minutes, but I think it gets better after that. So my apologies. Bear with me. It's a really good episode. Super good. Had a great talk with mom and dad about my dad's heart attack, and you're going to hear all about that and kind of their perspectives on things. So it's really fun. Stay tuned for that. Also, I've got some shows coming up. If you want to see me do some comedy, I'll be in New York City on the August 3rd and 4th. On the 3rd, I'll be in a competition show at St. Mark's Comedy Club. Should be fun. I've done that before, and it's always been a good time, so go check that out. On the 4th, I'll be at the Greenwich Comedy Club for a comedy showcase put on by my friend Drew Tessier. So go check that out and get tickets online and check my link tree for tickets. Also, November 11th and 12th, I'll be on the Saratoga Comedy Festival. Go get tickets now before they're sold out because they're selling like hotcakes. So go get them and come support a great weekend of comedy. And we'll have some more shows coming up. But check my link tree and my social medias for that, or go to my website. You'll see them listed on there. Anyway, that's all for now. I hope you enjoy this episode. It was super fun recording with mom and dad. And do me a favor, give me a like and follow, or share if you feel like it. That'd help me out a lot. See you guys. What's going on?
What's going on?
Good morning. We are at a place a little different right now. We're at my parents' house, which is lovely. I think this is naturally kind of a good backdrop for the podcast. I feel like we're doing a podcast.
Home sweet home.
Home sweet home. This is a special episode because I asked you guys if you wanted to do one talking about something pretty important to all of us, and just kind of document it and share our experience, which was your heart attack from December. Beginning of, end of
5th.
December 5th. Cut. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that and just document it and share what it was like to go through that and stuff. But anyway, yeah, I'm home on a special trip. I was just at my high school buddy's wedding last night, Cameron, which you guys have met a few times years ago. Yeah, it was exactly like we had just been hanging out yesterday or something like that.
Awesome.
He was busy. I didn't bug him too much because he had everybody to see, and I think he was nervous. And but he did a really good job. The ceremony was really cool. The place that it was in is this museum, and where they had the cocktail hour was like a museum part, and you walk back and there was this room with old registers, probably I think there was 90 old registers all over. And you can click on these little display screens and find out more about them. It was really cool. Yeah, it was a neat place.
Glad you had a good time.
Yeah. So, what have you guys been up to lately?
Dad's golfing and working.
Dad's got golf today.
Yeah, I got to golf today. I got to leave at 10.
Where are you going?
That's a good question. Shaker Run, I believe, is called. South of Dayton. About an hour and a half from here.
Are those the qualifications you have to get into there?
Shake or run.
Yeah, shake or runs.
Shake, I can't run.
Well, I was thinking runs, but yeah. Nice. What are you up to today, Mom?
It's a Sunday. I usually just do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
Even if that's nothing at all.
Yeah. Smoke your cigarettes. And okay. No. Yeah. Kevin and Terri, by the way, I forgot to introduce you all, but yeah, so full-time, we can plug the store a little bit, which would be cool. Do you want to talk about, we went and saw your store yesterday, which used to be Honey Hole.
Yeah.
Which was the old name. That's kind of what you inherited from when you bought the store, but you just changed it to
The Shops on Central.
The Shops on Central, which is here in Fairborn, Ohio. Which is really cool. Do you want to talk about the store at all?
Yeah. I bought it 2 years ago in May, and it was previously a thrift store. And we came in and kind of transformed it kept the name temporarily and then transformed it into what it is now. So it's no longer a thrift store. It is like, I call it a mini vendor mall. So I have all these booths that I rent out, or a shelf. You know, people rent out shelves as well. And so I think it's a smaller store, so it can't be a big vendor mall, but it's decent size anyway. I have 26 vendors now and growing. So yeah, and a portion of my proceeds goes to A21, and they help support victims of human trafficking. So that was a passion of mine from the get-go, so that's why I wanted to start that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's growing, and I'm having a good time.
You guys had the grand reopening recently.
Yep. A couple weeks ago, and it went really good. We had the ribbon cutting on a Friday, and then the grand reopening on a Saturday, and we had a blast.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could have been here for that because it looked really fun. But every time you say the A21 group, I keep thinking it was a steak sauce you were talking about. I was like, I mean, you can give your money to whatever you want, but it's a little weird. But how did you get plugged in with them? I'd not heard of them until your shop.
Actually, I stumbled upon them online several years ago, and a lady named Christine Kane leads it, and I love listening to her. And she has biblical principles behind it, and so that's what kind of attracted me to it. And then once I learned, I'm like, I don't know what happened with them, but I just suddenly had a passion to help people like that, because they are victims and helpless. And it's a combination of labor trafficking and sex trafficking. So, and they send me stories too of when somebody was rescued. So some of it's really kind of hard to read. They leave out certain details, but you get the gist of it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I started giving to them personally, and then I thought this was a perfect way to guide my business and just have a good purpose behind it.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I remember hearing Ohio in particular was kind of a central thing for a lot of those crimes, for human trafficking. Which we've got a lot of bigger cities. There's a lot of interstates. It's kind of people pass through a lot for other areas. I don't know. I feel like it happens a lot more around here, and just a lot more than we like to think in general.
Yeah, you have the main interstate of 75. It runs all the way north to south in the U.S., and then you've got 70, and you have some other main interstates that all intersect right here in the center of Ohio. So it is a pretty popular, pretty busy place.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, though. I was really fun going to the store yesterday and seeing everything because it looks really cool. You got rid of a lot of the clothes and stuff, so I hadn't seen that back room until yesterday, which was really fun. And the vendors are just really cool. There's stuff for everybody in there.
There are, yeah.
Well, nice. Do you have any other big plans for the store coming up, or just kind of holding as is?
I plan on building more booths to rent out.
Okay.
We were going to do that a couple months ago, and then he had another stent in the hospital, so that delayed it. Now we've just been kind of busy trying to figure out the best time to do that.
Yeah. Are you going in the front room?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, stop on in if you're in Fairborn, Ohio. Excuse me. I got a booger in my eye. Not a booger. An eye crusty. Got something buggering up my eye. Oh. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, stop in Fairborn, Ohio to see it. I had someone comment on that video I put yesterday that like they were mad because they thought it was in New York and they were really excited to go, and then they realized it was all the way in.
Well, they're just going to have to take a special trip.
That's right. Yeah.
I've honestly had people, not specifically to come to the store, they've come out of state visiting family and all that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah.
People from Texas, California.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. I told everybody on there, like, tell them Caleb sent you. It's not going to get you anything, but it's my mom would be like, Caleb, who? No. I don't know him. No, I'm kidding. But Dad, you work at, are we able to talk about where you work? Can you mention it?
We're going to. I
Okay.
don't know if I can or not, but
Well, I'm going to. I was booked there for a show before, so I can talk about it. We work at.
I work at Sutphen Corporation. We build fire trucks. One of the largest fire truck companies in the U.S. Only family-owned fire truck company in the U.S. I'm a semi-retired firefighter, and now I build the trucks. So it's kind of nice to be on the other end of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat career path to go from like firefighting to building stuff and be on the back end of it. We have, classically, the fire department that I am part of has one Sutphen. We still have it, but we're phasing it out. It's an old, like, 89, 75-foot ladder, mid-mount. We like it a lot. It's kind of hard to see it go, but we just got a Rosenbauer, so.
We can edit that out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But, no, that's cool. You've been there for a little while now.
Yeah, I've been there going on 9 years, 8.5 years.
Yeah. So. Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah.
I was going to say like 6 or 7.
No, I think it's a little longer. It's going on 10 years in
No, it's going on 9 in January.
Wow.
Well, technically 10 because I worked a year through a temp service, and that doesn't count towards my. So yes, I've been there 10 years. You're correct.
I count that.
Technically,
it was right when we moved upstate, I think, right around that or to New York area, and I've been not up there the whole time, but that's been almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah,
I've graduated 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
And nuts.
that is crazy.
Wowza.
Does that make you guys feel old?
It's crazy it was 10 years ago, not crazy that you graduated.
Yeah. Well, that's
Maybe a little of both.
No, that doesn't make me feel old. What makes me feel old is I graduated 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
43.
I was talking to Thorne's, one of my friends, Thorne, his wife was there at the wedding last night, and we were talking about, because she was supposed to have a reunion last year with her 10-year, and we were, surprise visit from Jazzy. You're going to see the kitty cat walking around, that's okay. But we were like, I kind of don't have an interest in seeing some of these people. No offense, thanks for watching, but you can stay on that side of the camera. I just don't have the same desire to be like. I feel like I was a people pleaser, and I am like to a certain degree. But like, there's sometimes I'm just like I don't have the time or energy. Like I'm not the person or the place or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of freeing to be in that mindset, I guess. But
I have never been to any of my reunions at all.
have they even had them?
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
It's no desire.
Just no real desire. Nothing against the people. It's just that time of my life was something I just wanted to get past, and I moved on out. And when the first reunion come up, I couldn't make the first one, and then after that, I just never really had the desire to go. I probably should. Yeah. But yeah, all the people I hung out with in high school, I no longer talk to. So I have a whole new set of friends that has nothing to do with high school. So it makes it kind of
that, or we're at an age where some of them have passed.
Yeah.
And I'm terrible with names. I have this fear of going to the reunion. I can't remember anybody's name.
I'm going to be carrying them around my yearbook the whole time.
Hey, you.
Hey, buddy.
Buddy. Yeah, buddy. What was that episode of Frasier? Where are you doing that? That's funny. I was thinking about Frasier all morning because I figured one of you would get on and I'd introduce you and be like, "What's up, Seattle? What's doing? What's happening?" We're big Frasier family, so let's probably turn this off. But yeah, that's fun. That was my fear, is like worrying about names and stuff. And they had talked about doing a 10-year reunion, but I don't think anybody really someone had made it as far as to make a Facebook group that we were all added to and put out some ideas of like where we could go. But I think that's as far as it made it. I don't think anybody took up the planning from there.
I guess it does take a lot to plan. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
you need a group to plan something like that.
Well, it's supposed to be, and I didn't know this at the time, but it was supposed to be whoever the class president was that planned the reunions.
Yeah.
And I had ran for class president with another female from the class, which I don't talk to anymore, and that's kind of why. We were supposed to go like give speeches in front of the classroom. I don't know if I ever told you about this. We had to get like prepare a speech and give it to the student body for our grade, so they could choose who they wanted to vote on. And there was like 4 groups of us, and I went up to give a speech with this girl, and we were in the gymnasium, and they were all set up on the bleachers. And during our speech, some like underclassman was just walking the whole length of the wall behind us and going really slow and taking the time. And they were just completely oblivious that this whole thing was going on and that everybody was looking at them. And so during the speech, I'm like, yeah, we'd really like to have some like, just fun together, like really build strong friendships and just have like a great community. And the person that I was running with turns around and be like, could you walk any slower? We're doing a thing here. I was, okay. It's like, well, I guess we're not doing class president anymore. Which I'm like blessing in disguise, because I didn't want to have to plan all this, and I didn't realize that until afterwards. But
That's funny.
yeah.
How many times have we felt like saying something out loud and we've just really held back? Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Or you say it out loud and realize you didn't mean to say it out loud. You wanted to keep it to yourself. But
I had like
been there.
Like Thorne and Jaden were like my best friends in high school. They came up to me afterwards like, buddy, I was going to vote for you. I was like, that's fair. No, please don't. Please don't. Yeah. Class reunions. I told them last night I'd be interested to do it to see where people have ended up. Because like I know some people now have gone career paths that I never would have expected. Because there's a few that are like or one that's like a cop that I wouldn't have guessed, or one's a like fire medic kind of thing, and I wouldn't have guessed that either. But then again, I didn't really have plans for that when I was going through high school, so I don't know. So that's the interesting part to me. Morgan and Thorne said that they went to hers, and mainly just to see who got fat. Well, that's fair. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's the other reason I don't go.
Yeah. But, well, nice. So we're meeting to talk about something important, which I have been wanting to do it for a while. Sorry, let me turn this down just loud. I've been wanting to do it for a while because, we were talking about this the other day. Like, I think it's important to talk about harder topics or just things that you've been through. One is like a way to process through them and like hear different perspectives. Because I'm sure there's things we all haven't talked about in a group dynamic since then. But it was a hard time. It was a difficult season, but also there was a lot of really good things that came from it.
Oh yeah.
Like your heart working better. So, but we're like, what, 8 months now past the incident, and it's kind of another reason it was kind of nice to wait was to see the recovery, because you're still in the recovery process.
Yeah, technically for a year you're in recovery.
Yeah. Do you want to start from the beginning and kind of? It started months before.
Yeah,
really.
It started months before. I had been having some issues where if I went up a flight of stairs or walked a long distance, I would get a little bit winded, and it all felt like it was up in my throat. My throat would get real tight, and I just felt like I had something going on in my throat. My head was just pounding, and I thought I had like a sinus thing going on that was causing it. And I fought with that for quite a while, because usually when it hit me, I could just stop for a couple minutes, take a couple deep breaths, and I was good. I could go on with my day and be just fine. And it wouldn't hit me again until maybe the next day. So I thought it was something like that, but I kept pushing it off. So don't ever push it off, and here's why. I was at work on a Friday morning. I started feeling that same way. I had gone down on the floor to walk the floor, got a little short of breath, sat down on the floor for a minute. It went away. I got up again, went to the other end of the factory or something, got to the other end, felt a little tired again, sat down, it went away. Then I wanted to go back to my office, and I went in to the main hallway area to get ready to go up the steps, and before I could go up the steps, I got real short of breath. I thought, okay, sit down again. I sat down, and this time it didn't go away. And I sat there for just a couple minutes, thought, okay, this is different, this is bad. I grabbed somebody who was going through the hallway and told him to go call 911. I was having a heart attack.
And you kind of knew it.
And I knew it at that point, yeah. Yep.
Did you have any inkling? Because I remember you mentioning that you thought maybe it was like asthma because the throat tightness and like shortness of breath, which is a reasonable kind of understanding of what was going on. Because it was mostly exertional, like when you were moving around.
It was all exertional. I didn't have any pain. Sure. I didn't have any kind of chest pain with it most of the time until that last one. I didn't have any chest pain or anything like that. It was just couldn't breathe and my throat got tight, so I thought it was respiratory. I had in the back of my mind, could it be heart? I do have high blood pressure, but I was on medication and I maintained a normal blood pressure, almost textbook. So I didn't really think it was that. But that time when it hit, I couldn't get my breath, and then all of a sudden I had the chest pain. That's when I knew that it was heart.
So you're at work. You had flagged someone down to call 911. As part of, at the time, you were working as like their health and safety guy.
Yep,
so
safety coordinator for the facility. So
you guys had plans in place, which was...
We had plans in place that worked really well, actually. I grabbed somebody and said, hey, go get me some help. And I thought, okay, somebody will come down, they'll call for help. Another wait a minute, I got my radio right here on me. So I got on the radio and called for my own code blue.
Which is just their, like...
That's our code for, medical emergency. So it was weird to call my own code blue. But I was able to...
you come get me.
I'll be laying on the floor. So I had to call my own code blue. That was interesting. But I had, within about 30 seconds, I had 14, 15 people standing around me from the safety team. They all had equipment. They had the AED in case I needed it. They had oxygen, put me on oxygen right away, gave me baby aspirin right away, got me in a position of comfort, cut my shirt off. Because one guy said it's about to get real because we're going to cut your shirt off in case we need to put these pads on. Which, when I heard that, I thought, oof, now it's real. Now it's real. But there's a chance I could go out. I had to put those pads on me. So thank the Lord I did not.
Yeah.
Got to the hospital, and through all the testing, they found that I had what's called a NSTEMI, which is a non-ST elevated myocardial infarction. So
So backing up a little bit, they took you by ambulance. The ambulance came and took you.
Yep.
It was a local ambulance, and they took you to the local hospital.
Correct.
Which is something we'll circle back to here in a minute.
Yep.
You went there. They started doing blood work, and they diagnosed you with an NSTEMI.
Yeah, they said that they did the blood work, and they were watching my enzymes. I can't remember what troponin levels, and they said, well, it looks like you probably have a blockage somewhere, a small blockage somewhere, and we're going to have to probably put a stent in. And this was on a Friday evening, or Friday. By the time I got this answer, it was close to evening. And they said, we don't do surgeries over the weekend unless it's an emergency. We've got you on medication. It's going to keep you at bay. You're going to be fine. We're going to do the surgery probably Monday or Tuesday. So we're going to send you to Springfield.
So that is like our, the hospital we went to, Urbana, is I think more of like a critical access hospital. They don't have a ton of capabilities past like general ER and like general admission things. So they didn't have a cath lab, which is why you were shipped to another hospital.
Correct.
Which is Springfield for us. So they have the ability to go in and do those surgeries and procedures and stuff. So yeah.
So when I got to Springfield, they looked at my troponin levels again, and they were up again. They said they were going to keep watching it, but they'd probably do the surgery on Monday. On Saturday afternoon, they come in and say, well, your levels are increasing quick. We don't want to put it off. We're going to go ahead and do the surgery. So their plan was to go in and run cables up my leg and put a stent in my heart wherever the blockage is, open up that blockage. They put me on the table, and it's kind of weird because you're laying on this table with two doctors on one side of you and a big computer screen right next to you on the other side, and that's showing what your insides look like. So I'm laying there looking at my insides, and they're looking for it, and I'm just like, oh, that's kind of cool, looking at it. And all of a sudden they rotated the view, and I could see the blockages myself, and I went, oh crap. It was not just one tiny blockage. And immediately the doctor leaned down and said, we're going to have to stop this. You're going to have to have open heart. You've got 3 major blockages. That was tough.
Yeah.
I thought I was gone at that point. Those are words that will stay with me forever. It was hard.
I mean, talk about a vulnerable moment. I mean, I'm on a gurney. Like you're on a table with people you don't know standing around you. And to get news like that when you're expecting it just to be a simple procedure is not easy.
Yeah, that was hard. So, excuse me. So they wheeled me back out of there, and they had to let me recoup for a couple of days from what they've already done before they tried the open heart surgery. Plus, they wanted to try to get me a little more stable before they did the open heart. So I had to think about it for 2 days, 2.5, 3 days.
Yeah, a little while. Yeah.
Before they could actually even do the surgery. So I laid in that hospital just thinking about that. Yeah. That I have these 3 blockages that at any time could kill me, but I got to wait a few days to get the surgery. So, yeah.
So, from the medical side, this is kind of interesting because, I mean, to go back and talk about some of the aspects of it, if you ever call 911 for chest pain, which if you didn't know, Dad was a paramedic for a while. I'm a paramedic now, so we've been through that plenty of calls with chest pain before. What's interesting is NSTEMI is a non-ST elevation myocardial infarction. A STEMI is just without the non-part. So it's a ST elevation myocardial infarction. And when they do a 12 lead and they put all the stickers on your chest, they're looking at the ST segment after your complexes. If that's elevated, typically that's referred to as a STEMI, unless there's another reason it could be elevated. And that's kind of like your classic, like, oh, you're having a heart attack. That's like the quickest way to find out. Yep. Typically, you'll find that out in the field because EMS typically doesn't have the ability to do blood work and find out that your troponins are high. So that's typically how we'll find out in the field. So you had the 12 lead done at work. There was minimal signs on that, but no STEMI.
There was no ST elevation. There was a slight depression in the ST. That was it.
There was a slight depression, 1 lead, and then you did have T-wave inversions in one of your leads, which I think it was AVL or AVR. I keep getting the order so I should know off memory, but that in and of itself, looking back, is a significant finding for a posterior MI, or basically what you had. Mm-hmm. So they went in and they told us that you were 98% occluded,
99% on the Widowmaker. That's the one they call the Widowmaker, and then 95% on 95 and
left
90,
main.
95 on the left main, and
95 and 99, I think.
That was 99, 95, 95. I think it was both 95s.
Yeah.
On the other two.
Yeah, which is significant. And I think that's important for, looking back now, like it's important for EMS providers, one, to know that because those small signs mean a lot. Yeah. And that could be a really good sign. And unfortunately, at first, you weren't transported to a place that had a cath lab. Which like they got you there, they did all the right things that they needed to, but that's another consideration for EMS is to transport to an appropriate facility, just to save time because now we have to deal with another hospital bill or ambulance transport and things like that. But anyway, all that to be said, this is kind of like an educational thing. So yeah, they found out that you were going through that. I guess at the same time we were waiting I don't know if we talked about this that much or how much you guys talked about it post incident, but we were all waiting in the family room of the hospital, kind of waiting to hear how the surgery went. Do you want to talk about that side or what was going through your mind?
Well, we were in his room and we were all just, it's just going to be a stent. It's no big deal. So we were
supposed to be out in a day or two.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the mindset that we all had. So you were there, Carrie, and I, Katie, I think was there, and yeah, and then the doctor came in. Yeah, well, it was the guy that did the cath, or was going to, and he gave us the news, and I just remember being in shock. And I heard him say, "We can't do the cath. He is going to have to have open heart surgery." And I know so many people have had that done before, and there's been so many successful stories from it. But I'm not ignorant. I know there are some bad stories from it as well. And that's all I could see at that point in time. So I quickly lost it. And thank God my kids were there. Caleb, you were like a pillar of strength. And at one point I was like, is Caleb ever going to like lose it? I mean, but you're just that way. You're like a pillar of strength and really kind of always have been. But my daughters were there for me, and it was, yeah, all I could picture was what he was going to have to go through, and he was laying. Something else that I could picture was you were just laying there by yourself with strangers around you.
Right.
We needed to be with you to comfort you, and yeah, I kind of went in shock for a while.
I mean, that's such hard news to hear from everybody's perspective. I mean, you're expecting the doctor to come out and be like, hey, things look great. He's going to be out in a minute.
Yeah.
Yada. Kind of things are at ease. But then it's the complete opposite of what you're expecting. So that is very hard to hear. Especially because at that moment, like they did a really good job, I think, at explaining the stent and kind of knowing what to expect with that. And like they said, it would be a few days, like kind of a minor hiccup in the road, but like you'll be out of here after a bit. So to then find out that, you're like, wow, this is okay. This is like a much bigger thing than we expected.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they wheeled you out into the room. I think we had to go. I don't think we were in the room when they brought him back in. I think they had to get you settled in, and then we were allowed to come back. Yeah. What was kind of going through your mind?
Well, the hardest thing is, from that point was just having to think about what I was going to go through. Because I was like you, I was expecting to go in, be awake for the whole thing. They would talk, yep, there it is, and we'll throw the blockage in and see it, and I'd feel better. They told me as soon as we put the stent in, you're going to feel better. We get in there, and I'm expecting that to happen, and them to wheel me out, and then for them to say that I had to have the surgery, I instantly started thinking about, okay, what am I in for? What is it? Did I do enough for my family? Are they set up? Because I didn't think I was going to walk out of there. When you get news like that, when you think it's going to be one thing and then suddenly it's the complete opposite and it's way worse, your mind just goes to the darkest side. And in my mind, I was gone. I wasn't coming out of there. So that's what I thought about for a long time. And then when I got into the room and you guys came in, I wanted to try to be positive for you guys. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, this is the last time I'm going to see them. So that was tough.
Yeah.
You talk.
If you're going to cry, then I'm going to cry. No. Yeah.
We're really not a family of babies. We're really not.
Well, it's okay to cry. Something like, I think the emotion's good because it does prove an understanding of the situation and the gravity of it. Like, if you're not having an emotion at that point, maybe go see a therapist or something. But, I mean, that's tough. Like, that is really tough news to hear, yeah.
Well, that is something that when you were raised where you can't show a lot of emotion,
right,
you can't deny it then at a point like that. So,
well, I think that's also probably the firefighter paramedic in you, too, because, I mean, I don't know if it's like just, unless it's happening to you, you feel kind of disconnected from other people's situations like that because you have to.
You have to, yeah.
Because you're dealing with it constantly. You're like always with people that are having heart attacks or, like facing death. So like, how do you have to kind of turn that off in your head. So I'm sure that was quite different from your perspective. I don't know that I'd ever fully understand that until I'm put in a situation like that. So I couldn't imagine the emotions that are through your head. But I do think I understand why you kind of go to the most extreme end of that right away, because you've seen it so many times.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've taken people into the hospital when I was paramedic that I thought, oh, he's not really having a heart attack. He's not really that bad, and then they die. You know, why? What happened? You know, and it's shocking to you. And I've taken people I thought there's no way they're coming out of this hospital, and they walk out the next day. It's just, you know, God knows when your time is, and we don't. But you've seen so much of it over the years that, yeah, when it happened to me, all that come flashing back. You know, all the sorrow that I saw families go through, the times I was in somebody's house when their loved one died in the house, and I had to try to stick around for an hour and keep them calm and comfortable until the funeral home could come get the body and things like that. It's hard because you're going to somebody's house as a medic when they have absolutely no idea what else to do.
Right.
They've tried to fix the problem themselves. They try to take care of it themselves if they can. But when they throw their hands in the air and they don't know, that's when they call you. So you're expected to come in and solve all their problems. And you can't always do that.
Right.
So, and that's the case with this. I was expecting them to just put a stent in, solve my problem. I suddenly realized, wait, I'm one of those people now that they can't just solve it. It's going to take some time to try. So that was a hard pill to swallow too, because I've been in it on the other side so many times.
Yeah. And you're like you said, it's out of your hands at this point.
Yep.
I mean, for both of you, you're both pretty there's a problem, solve it. You know, both problem solvers. We have no control. Anybody. Our job at that point is just to support and be there. And we're not going to go train the doctors more. I don't know, you know, we're just letting it happen. But yeah. So the doctor came in and told us that was a tough. Well, it was an hour or two, I think, before we saw you. By the time they kind of closed you up from the attempting to do the stent placement and then get you back there. So that was a lot of just trying to figure things out and communicating with people. So we were calling a lot of family members and just trying to make sure people that needed to know knew, because we weren't sure what was going to happen. And I do remember you distinctly quite a few times being like, I know he's scared, and that's okay. That's you should be in that situation. But I think the focus from my mom and Katie, Emily, and Carrie were all to I want to be with you. And it was neat to see, from my perspective at least, just to see kind of instantly they were like, I want to be with Dad, and just make sure he knows we're here for him, which was really cool. I think that's one of the good things that came out of that situation is the family bonding that happened. Wouldn't choose to go through that again, but keep your heart in check, please, Jesus. But you know, it was cool to see everybody come together like that. So they admit you were at this point. Were you in the CVICU?
I was in upstairs on the third floor of the one wing of the heart wing, where just the minor patients go, doing stents and things like that.
Yeah.
So when they brought me out of there, they put me into a different room where the major patients are, where they got to really keep a close eye on.
Which was you were just down the hallway, really. I think in your first room.
Yep.
So it was kind of it was very close to the CVICU, which is the cardiovascular intensive care unit, where all these nurses have specialized training in these procedures, which we'll get into them in a minute. I really want to talk about all the nurses. But they've received special training on handling equipment, people that are on vents and pumps after surgery, all that stuff, and they do a phenomenal job. But you were moved over to that section. I think they brought you straight there after. I remember having to kind of pack up stuff and then moved it over. How did it feel? Obviously you came out, you saw us. We kind of had our moment to just kind of regroup a little bit. But what were those next few days like for you?
It was tough because I didn't know what the outcome was going to be, and I knew I was facing a hard surgery and some recoup time, some recovery time that wasn't going to be easy. So I'm constantly laying there thinking, do I have everything in order? Do I have what I need to recoup at home? Do we have, is the income going to stay? I had to think about my income. I don't know. I got to get paperwork signed at work because I'm going to be on leave. And, I'm the caretaker. I'm the one that goes and does that stuff. But now I'm the one in the hospital. I can't go do that. So your sister, Carrie, went to Suffolk and got the paperwork and took care of that for me. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was,
she took control of that, which was great.
it was a huge help.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
Yeah. But all that stuff is going through your mind. I'm thinking from everything from how it's going to feel going through that surgery to what it's going to be like if I don't make it. Did I set everybody up for success after I'm gone? Did I do enough? Is this young lady going to be able to survive without me? I know at first she probably thinks she couldn't, but I wanted to try to financially set her up where she'd be good. So all that stuff is going through your mind. And then to have to, 'cause every family member is curious. They want to know how I'm feeling. And I explained it so many times to so many people how I was feeling. I was like, oh, not another one. Don't ask me that again. But every time somebody would come in, so how are you feeling? How do you think I'm feeling? I mean,
like
I'm
shit.
peachy.
Yeah. Like shit. Atrocious. What's that? Oh, wasn't it? It was like
half dead.
yeah. Excruciating. Like there are shards of glass in my eyes.
So yeah, it was hard to keep explaining it. And I get they just wanted to know and connect on how I'm feeling and try to help. But it got to a point where I explained it so many times that I started feeling kind of dark. I was like, ugh, this is bad. I want to think of good stuff. But then somebody asks how I feel. Well, how I feel is like crap. I feel like, so I go down that road again. So that was hard. And it's no fault of anybody that was asking the questions. It's just something you have to go through. So it took a good 24 hours for me to get to the point where I could start looking for the positive and start finding the hope in it again. So I think it's something I had to go down that road in order to get to where I could be more positive. And then from then on, I would talk to people and I said, it ain't nothing but a thing. We're going to get in, we're going to get this done, and I'm going to be okay. Because then I really felt that at that point. But for a day or two, I didn't.
Yeah.
I was trying to be positive for everybody else.
Well, it's probably, to talk about like the 5 steps of grief, I'm sure you're stepping through that because, it's there's similar emotions to dealing with like the death of a loved one. Like you're thinking of all those things, so you're processing through all those things. So there's like there has to be the stage of acceptance and grief and denial and all that stuff, and then you're just stepping through it.
Yeah, I felt like I was processing the stages of death of a loved one, but I am the loved one that died. So it's really weird when it's it's yourself that you're processing. For somebody else, you process and you think, okay, what's going to be like when they're gone? Or if they've already passed, you're like, what's life going to be like 5 years from now? You think about that stuff. But for me, thinking, okay, it's me. I'm still here, but I was already starting to grieve the loss of myself, if that makes sense, because I didn't know if I was going to make it or not. So I went through that grieving process, even though I wasn't gone.
Well, then you were grieving what you thought you had. You didn't realize your health was that bad.
Yep.
You did to a point, but then it kind of like was a punch in the gut. So you have to recover from that. But can I ask something real quick? Before we go too much further, we haven't asked you what you were going through at that point.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's a good point. I was up for Thanksgiving, or what? No,
Christmas.
I was.
Yeah,
I was on a trip. It was after.
You were here for Thanksgiving. That's right.
Yeah, I forget the.
You went.
It was kind of a blur a little bit, but I was going to kind of do like a trip a little bit, because I had time off, and I'm not good about using my time off throughout the year, so I had like a bunch of time I needed to use, which thank God, like it kind of worked out well. It was kind of a low key convenient time for your heart to shit the bed. Out of all the time of the year, that was cool.
That's my Christmas gift to you.
Yeah, thanks. Um, no, but like we were already here, so I was hitting like open mics and doing stuff. We had plans. I think I was supposed to meet you guys for. No, what was I supposed to do? I went to like an open mic in Columbus, and I was staying down there that night.
Yeah.
And you had called me and said, "Hey, like, Dad's in the hospital. He's got chest pain. Can you come down?" I was like, "Absolutely." Or you said Dad's in the hospital. I was like, "Again?" No. No. We get down there and like it was kind of the same thing. It was hard to tell like where you were at in the process. I was like asking to see the 12 leads. I kind of go into like medical mode where I'm like, I want to make sure they're doing shit right. And like, I remember asking them, "Hey, can we do another 12 lead?" Because that's important. And like, so this is another good thing to touch on. Being educated on these things and asking questions, and then being a good patient advocate is really important. Mm-hmm. And this is not to completely discredit the first hospital you went to, but there just seemed to be some missing pieces there, especially in the management of your situations. Like, especially like knowing what we know now, your troponin levels weren't significantly high,
Right.
which is good. I think that's part of the reason you were able to have like such a successful surgery and things was because you did have a heart attack of some kind, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I think your troponin levels initially were like 50s or 35, and then kind of bumped up to like 63, I think. So they didn't get super, super elevated right off the rip, but that is an indication that there was something going on, and you want to keep track of those and do repeat 12 leads because you'll see differences in your 12 leads as a heart attack progresses. So from an EMS perspective, that's why it's really important that we do, if you're having someone with chest pain, do repeat 12 leads and continuously monitor them, because we can be a really good resource to spot these things and then make sure we're notifying and starting a chain of care that's appropriate for the patient, and telling the hospital we think this person is having a heart attack, because they need to, most likely, depending on the hospital you go to, they might not have those doctors there at the moment, but they can call them in and they have a certain amount of time they need to respond and be able to treat you. So that's important. But I felt like that was kind of my mindset through the whole thing. So we were able to go like meet you at Urbana, kind of be there for that, asking the doctor questions that I don't think he really knew how to answer at times. And I didn't want to feel like an asshole or anything, but I was like trying to ask important things we needed to know. So that's that. But yeah, getting you to the Urbana or to Springfield was really nice, because it was kind of relieving for me, because you needed to be there. And I'm really glad they didn't admit you into Urbana like they were talking about. I think that was a smart move. But yeah, I think once you had gone back and then the doctor came out and told us what was going on, one, I was like, kind of went into that firefighter paramedic mode, like, okay, I need to like learn how to support everybody the best way I can. His mom was going through it, rightfully so. Carrie, everybody was like, it was kind of just emotionally heavy because you didn't know what to expect. And at this point, it was also a little weird for me because I hadn't been through this part of it before. Normally my job is I drop them at the hospital and that's about it. I give a report to the doctor, or sometimes I'll take them up to the cath lab if we know it's like a heart attack, and then I don't do anything else from there. So now that's where it kind of felt out of my control. So I will give a shout out to Nate right now, because I reached out to him a lot during that, because he was very familiar with a lot of those processes, because he worked in the hospital. He's walked through these kind of patients or these kind of situations with a lot of families before. So he was a really good lifeline for me to talk about those things. So
he was your strength.
Mm-hmm.
You ended up kind of being our strength.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it was I think everybody had someone to kind of lean on, and which was really nice. And we were all leaning on each other, but I remember texting him a lot and be like, what is this? How bad is bad for troponin levels? Or like, he was kind of my gauge for that. And Yeah, shout out, babe. Love you.
That was tough though, because as a mom, I'm supposed to be strong for my kids, you know.
Yeah.
But my goodness, I just couldn't be strong at that point in time, and I really didn't want. It was kind of weird because I thought, why try to be strong, because this is a weak situation or a weak time. So I don't know. Sometimes you got thoughts running through your head that just don't make sense at the time, but then you look back and you think, oh, I get that.
And that's okay to have moments like that. Sometimes you need those times to just kind of settle into your thoughts and not have to be putting on the front for everybody else. I think that helps you progress through emotions. So like as much as it fucking sucked, it was probably good for you to have a day or two to like really think about those things and progress through and get to the point where you're like, okay, this is happening, and kind of be at peace with it. I think I don't know. I think there's pros and cons to all that, of course, but
Well, you're in shock.
yeah.
And you need that shock to wear off a little bit, then maybe you can start thinking a little straighter. So if you have somebody else outside of it that can help you put those pieces together.
Right.
But I want to give a shout out to, first of all, you being a pillar of strength. And I'm thankful for Nate too, because you had told me, well, I have a friend, Nate, and he's telling me all this information. I'm like, thank God, because I don't know what to ask. I didn't know what to ask or, you know, how to. I want to be a patient advocate, but at the time I just didn't have the right mindset to be that. But I want to acknowledge my daughters too, because I was in such shock that I was shaking uncontrollably, and I could not stop. And then they had put us in that waiting area, and thank goodness we were alone. It was just us. And I told Carrie I can't stop shaking, and she just came over and gave me a hug and started praying, and I just suddenly stopped shaking and was calmer. And Katie was being amazing. She was strong. Emily couldn't been there. She couldn't be there at that point in time just yet. But later on, she was like a pillar of strength, and she brings a comedy too to situations that, I don't know, just having 4 of our 5 kids there was amazing. So.
And I love my sisters. They're so they're just fun. They're hoot and holler. We have a great time when we're hanging out. But that was really neat because I think everybody had a different way of helping each other in the moment, and that sucked because there was like still separation because this was before they brought you out, so we were dealing with all that and like trying to figure out, okay, how can we best help Dad with these things, and like how can we prepare for the next few days. So that was interesting, but yeah, big shout out to them. They were great, and even through the rest of the process, they really showed up and were awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, getting into the CVICU, let's talk about that for a little bit. This is something I really want to plug because I think they were phenomenal, and a huge help through the whole process was the nurses in particular at the CVICU. At that point, you had quite a few doctors coming through, like hospitalists that were just over your general care, and then you were seeing cardiothoracic surgery or surgeons, cardiologists that were stopping in to see you, PAs. All of them were great. They all seemed very nice and kind and very willing to kind of talk you through the next steps. But what was your experience with the nursing staff there?
Oh, the nursing staff was phenomenal. If you're going to have a heart attack, have it in Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah.
Springfield Heart House. They are amazing. They are a bunch of nurses that have been doing it for years. They have a passion for it and compassion for the patients.
Oh, yeah.
I hate when you go to a hospital and you're in a bad situation and the nurse that you have has no compassion. This is not the place to have that happen. And so these nurses were really, I didn't have a single bad nurse the whole time. And I had a few that were over the top great. I mean, just would stop in my room just to see if things were good, sit down and talk to me and not just do their job, but try to make a connection, which was nice because I felt a little more comfortable having them, knowing they were out there watching the monitor and,
it was like they were taking care of their own family member, and that's what.
Yep.
And it's Springfield Regional.
Yeah.
You said Heart House. I know some of your nurses are from that, but it was Springfield Regional, and they get sometimes, I don't know, not everybody likes hospitals, but I would give the heart level like a 10 in care level.
Yeah. It was, like you said, that was relieving. I speak the first nurse you had, was it Justin? Or maybe that was the other place. But Gina, she really stepped in. And then Kelly.
Yeah.
Gina, Kelly and Gina, I think were your two nurses that were the most consistent, right?
I had them quite a bit. Well, I had Gina for a couple of days, and then Nurse Kelly, I've had her like 3 or 4 days. And I can't remember all the other names.
I know there were so many, but
they were all phenomenal.
great.
But I specifically remember Gina and Kelly a lot. One, because they got to know us like pretty well. We saw them every day for the time you were in there. But they were ones that, like, their compassion really elevated their care. Like this, a different nurse could have come in and done the same exact things they were doing, pushed the same buttons, done the same things, but there's something so different about having someone that like connects with you and actually gives a shit. And they were that, which was awesome.
Yeah, when the nurses were literally out there fighting over who gets to take care of me.
Yeah,
that was an awesome feeling, because they all wanted to be there and be a part of it and take care of me.
Well, and not for nothing, but it's kind of, I think another reason it was so shocking is because you're not you're not super unhealthy.
Right.
So I'm sure part of it too was, I don't want to deal with the 300-pounder that's down the hall again. But it was genuinely like, there was such a special connection between the nurses and you and all of us. And I think that was so nice. Like, to the point where like, we were like, how can we take care of you? Because you're doing such a good job. Like, I want to buy you lunch or something, yeah. Anyway, any other thoughts on them? They
were amazing. They were there for everything, and I mean everything. So a couple of them nurses I got very intimate with, so to speak.
You specify.
Yeah. We don't need to go into the specific care that you needed.
We're talking about wiping asses here. That's what we're talking about. You need help with that shit. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, they were phenomenal. Just huge shout out to them. What were your thoughts on the nurses? I know you talked about it a little bit.
They were amazing, and sometimes you could just sit and have a good conversation with them. And, you're right. It got to a point where we wanted to accommodate them too, and Carrie actually left and went and got them a gift basket. And
goodies and stuff,
and I think it made them choke up, but they were able to share that with all the other nurses too. But,
plus they were like, from an educational standpoint, they were all really phenomenal about helping walk through the process of everything, because they've been through it so many times. It's like I remember just sitting there having numerous conversations with them of like, okay, here's what to expect post-surgery, and you kind of expect the doctor to be the ones to come in to talk to you about those things, and they did, but I feel like the nurses were the ones that helped kind of the understanding settle in, because they really took the time. They really know how to bring it down to a level that's easy to understand, which is important. Doctors aren't always the best at at that thing, so
it was a relief with the nurses to explain once he came out of the surgery what to expect, and I think they explained that to you as well. And they didn't sugarcoat it. They said the first 8 hours would be the absolute worst, the first day, because you were awake, but you still had I was
still intubated.
That was horrible. That was
Which
horrible to see. I can't imagine.
But that was, part of the I think the nurses being as compassionate as they were, and them being the ones to explain it, and then that they're going to be the ones that are there taking care of you, was relieving for us, at least. I don't know how you felt, but...
yeah, definitely. I knew coming out that they told me I'd come out of the anesthesia and I'd have a tube. I'd be in my room for about 4 hours under the anesthesia still. It'd take about 4 hours to kind of wean me off and get me off of that. But when I woke up, I would have a tube in my throat. I wouldn't be able to talk. I wouldn't be able to swallow. And I would feel like I can't breathe. So they told me that was going to come. So I woke up and had that tube in, and it was another 4 hours before they could get that tube out. So I laid there awake with a tube in my throat, feeling like I was choking to death. I couldn't get a breath. I felt like I was drowning, like I couldn't get a breath with that tube in. And I mean, the tube was breathing for me, but you don't realize that. All you feel is this thing in your throat where you can't get a breath, and you want to try to cough it out, and you can't. So it's like 4 hours of choking, basically. That was probably the toughest part of this entire thing, was that 4 hours.
Yeah.
Because that was the worst. And I remember when they finally got to the point where they could take it out, and they told me to take a deep breath, and then they were going to pull the tube out, and they wanted me to kind of blow out as they're doing it. And I blew out, and the tube came out, and I was like, I took a deep breath, and I was suddenly relaxed. And that was probably the most relaxed I was in the whole process for that hour after that.
Yeah.
But that was tough laying there with that too. I can't talk. My family's in visiting me, and I feel like I'm choking to death in front of them, and I can't say nothing, and it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah. So that was the surgery. Backing up a little bit, the surgery part was kind of the calm before the storm, I think, for us at least, because I mean, you weren't awake for it. You were intubated, you were vented, machine breathing for you. At one point, you had a machine that was your heart, which is, I think, is important for people to understand, and they explained that pretty well. But there was another device that is oxygenating you. You're clinically dead at that point, which is crazy to think about. But praise God, those surgeons were phenomenal. Dr. Siegenthaler, I think, was the primary one that did it, and he was great. Like you had kind of the utmost confidence that he was going to do this job and do it well, because he just carried himself well, and I think that's important. But I remember, I mean, for us, we were just sitting out in the waiting room. We knew it was a long time getting through that surgery, but I think there was kind of a calm there because we were all just hanging out, just waiting. And I think the girls brought like coloring books. Yeah. So, and like everybody was coloring and just sitting and talking. And I think we knew, like, at that point, I think we all kind of knew, like, he's going to get through this. But I don't know that we knew how hard it was going to be for the recovery process. So we were waiting in a separate waiting room. They had told us that we weren't going to be able to come back and see you after your surgery for at least a few hours, because they need to bring you back to your room in the ICU unit. You're still on a vent. You're still on numerous drugs to help maintain regularity and just keep you sedated at first, and then to like just balance out all the effects of the surgery. You were on a ton of like antidysrhythmics, a lot of, I think, I don't know what they use for sedation and stuff, but just a ton of stuff. So you walk in and it's pump, 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 pump. Just a bunch of machines behind you, which was interesting. But I didn't see you until they had started weaning you off of sedation, and they do that intentionally quickly because they don't want you to stay on the machine, on the vent, that long, because that could lead to more complications. So I think we all kind of had an idea that was going to be tough for you, but not until everybody saw you, at least from our perspective, because you could see that you were uncomfortable, and like it was tough, and that was hard to see you in that position. So, but yeah, you talked about it a little bit, but going through that, you were experiencing that. You were waking up and alert for hours on a tube. You weren't breathing on your own. That machine, after a while, when it's breathing for you, will just completely take over. So you don't really have your own respiratory drive until they pull that tube out and you get it back. But, I mean, that was tough, right? Like,
yeah, it was tough because, like I said, laying there for 4 hours and I have no control. No control whatsoever. I wanted to yank that tube out so bad, but I knew I couldn't do that. But it was hard because there was nothing that anybody could do to make me comfortable for those 4 hours. Not a thing. Everything else in the world, you can give drugs. You can, put them in comfortable positions, things like that. There was absolutely nothing that could take that feeling away, except for pulling that tube out. so laying there for 4 hours thinking about that. I actually went through a time where it got so tough on me that I was struggling with it for quite a bit, and then I felt like I was starting to get more relaxed, and then all of a sudden I started struggling again, and I wasn't sure why. And that second time I started struggling, I was actually laying there thinking, I can't do this no more. I just wanted to take my last breath. Not that I wanted to be dead, but I just couldn't fight that fight anymore. I didn't think I had it in me to fight it. So, like I said, that was the toughest 4 hours of the entire thing, was getting through that. Right. Once that came out, I was like, okay, now we're on the road to recovery. Right. I was in a lot of pain, and I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but at least I knew I had all my faculties about me. I could breathe. I was awake. Right. I could talk.
It's more tolerable at that point.
I knew at that point, okay, if I made it through that 4 hours, I'm good. I'm golden now.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah, that was tough. I remember, and again, like this, they had to do that, like, which sucks. They really couldn't give you more pain meds or things to take that feeling away, because they needed to get you extubated as quick as possible. So it's not like the nurses weren't doing anything. They couldn't. Like, they had to go through the steps, and I think they knew that too. So they were, I think they were just doing their job, and they had a lot to manage at that point. But yeah, it was tough seeing you in that position. I don't know how to help you other than being there. And even then, like, you kind of get the feeling like being here doesn't seem like it's helping either. Because I don't want you to have to feel like you're trying to entertain us or anything. You've got a tube in your throat, so that's tough. But
Have you ever had a bad dream, and when you wake up from it, it takes you 5-10 minutes to really get out of that phase? Do that for 4 hours. That's what it felt like. I was just in a bad dream, and I couldn't get out of the bad dream. That's for 4 hours. That's what it felt like. But yeah.
What was your thoughts on? I mean, you and I think Carrie were the first ones to go back to see him.
Yeah.
What was your initial thoughts? It must have been tough.
It honestly, I kind of worked it up in my head. Okay, this is going to be pretty bad, because I had seen my dad in that position before, so that kind of prepared me a little bit. And so yeah, there was tubes and things all over, and behind you, all those beeps. Ugh. That's one thing that I don't ever want to hear again, is the beeping from all these machines. And but we walk in and we go to the side of your bed, and I think your eyes were closed at first, and I leaned down to let you know that we were there, and you barely opened your eyes, but I knew you could hear us. And so Carrie and I gave you a hug as much as we can. I mean, you got to be really delicate and all that stuff, but it just tore. I hated seeing you like that in that position. And but it wasn't about me at that point in time, so I just put all that feeling aside and wanted to be strong for you. And Carrie was the same way. But at one point, you say you don't remember this, but we were standing there and was listening to the doctors and nurses, and they were telling us some things. But then at one point it was quiet, and you raised your arm, and you was like this. You were like waving us and pointing down.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and I'm like, my first instinct was you were uncomfortable with us. Did you feel like we were hovering? And I don't know. Maybe you wanted us to sit down, so we ended up grabbing chairs and sitting down, and you were okay after that. But yeah,
I don't remember that at all.
It was kind of weird.
No, I'm sure your body was trying to do everything it could to be more comfortable. So you're probably like, probably don't even realize it, but you're probably like, I need like something, because that was your only way to communicate, was really trying to use your hands. But what are you going to say? Like, you're not trained to sign language. That's tough. Yeah. So to back us up a little bit, the surgery you had was open heart bypass surgery. At the time, I think they said they weren't really sure how many bypasses they needed to do, but I think they said like a triple bypass, I believe, or double bypass maybe.
I think they said at first a double bypass,
and then it ended up being a triple. But
yeah.
So that procedure, they physically go in, they crack your ribs, They spread you open. Like it's one of the most invasive surgery they're doing because they're going into your heart. They're stopping your heart.
They deflate your lungs.
Yeah. Yeah, they're oxygenating you through a machine with all that. So it's tough. So there's just a lot that's going on. Medically, it's interesting that they can do all these things. It's kind of amazing to think about, but there's so many moving parts. So there's doctors that we didn't even see that were there. Some, like your anesthesiologist, I think stopped in. But there's those people. There's pharmacists. There's the surgeons. There's PAs. There's nurses that we had no idea. We didn't even see. But shout out to them because they did the most important part.
Yep.
Which was the surgery, and they did it well. So for the surgery, they went in and they grafted from your thigh, or did they? Where did
the vein that they took?
Yeah,
from my left thigh.
From your left thigh. They specifically take out pieces of your vein to put into your heart and bypass the area of blockage. So they're basically creating another avenue for blood to flow, to bypass that area that has been damaged or is blocked, and be able to restore circulation to your heart, which is crazy. It's like insane that they can do this, but they did it. So just to kind of point the severity of it, like it's we didn't really talk too much about the procedure itself, but that's what happened. I mean, yeah, you got like 20 minutes or so. So yeah, recovery time for that though is significant because you're dealing with broken ribs, you're dealing with respiratory issues, you're dealing with a heart that needs to regain regularity and is learning a new way of living itself because you have a new blood flow, is learning different pressures, it's learning different, just a different normal. So you have all of that to go through. So recovery was after they got you extubated that first day, you were really just resting. They were still managing a lot of things. And then
I also had a clip put on my aortic clip.
Yep.
So that's, heart's got to get used to that too.
Yeah. Which they do that. There's a pretty common occurrence of AFib after surgeries like that, which AFib is just an irregular heartbeat. That's pretty common. So that clip is to help prevent that in the future.
It's also to help prevent part of your aorta has like little loops hanging down where blood can pool. Mm-hmm. And that's what they clip off because Correct. The blood pooling in there can cause clots and send a clot.
Yep.
So they clip that off so it can't pool. That's basically what that is.
Yeah. Those, decreasing your chance of like AFib, strokes, things like that. But the recovery process, you were in the hospital for a week. Which seemed low, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It seemed quick, but first few days after surgery were tough because you were in the most pain, you were the most uncomfortable. But what was that like for you?
I mean, honestly, it was painful and it was long and it was tedious, but I was in a different mindset by that point because I'd come out of the surgery and I thought, okay, by that point I was like, okay, the surgery was a success. Now I just got to get through this recovery period. And that's you.
If you're hearing my stomach, I'm so sorry. I'm not ripping ass. These chairs are not going through that. That's my stomach. I need to eat some food.
But yeah, by that point I was feeling a whole lot better about the process. So though it was hard to go through, mentally it wasn't as hard.
Sure.
But physically it was damn hard. I couldn't hardly even roll over in bed. You used to grab into something and roll and say, I couldn't do that. Yeah. I couldn't put any stress on my chest at all. So moving was more of a try to roll and then try to shimmy over and roll some more. It got to be, sitting up on the bed. Day one, they had me sitting up.
Yeah.
And they taught me how to sit up on the bed without hurting my chest, which was very hard to do. And I had to have a nurse there watching me just in case so I wouldn't fall.
They had you walking too.
They had me up and walking day
important.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, get up and walk as soon as possible.
Yeah.
They're very aggressive about the recovery process because one, you need to train your body after it just went through such a traumatic thing to recoup as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you to sit in bed and wait to feel better before you start doing these things because then you're just never going to get there. So that's something they did explain quite a bit even before the surgery. They're like, there's there's specific ways we're going to teach you. You can't use your chest physically. You can't because it's cut from stern to stem.
You're hugging a pillow for several days.
Yeah. But yeah. What were you feeling? I mean, a few days after surgery, it was a lot of pain, I'm sure, but
It was, but I was getting aggressive with it myself. I would ask the nurses, "Hey, can I take my walk? Let's do it. Let's get it done." I wanted to get healthy and get home.
That's probably why they liked you so much, because you didn't sit around pissing and moaning. You wanted to get up and active.
Right.
Yep.
You were an easy patient.
And I could hear them having conversations with the patient in the room next to me, and I'm thinking to myself, I would not want to be that nurse, because the guy that was next to me at the time was not cooperative at all. He didn't want to do anything he was supposed to do. He griped about everything. So I could see why they enjoyed having me, and they were fighting over me, because I wanted to do everything they wanted me to do just to get out of there.
right.
So,
Which, I mean, speaking from a healthcare provider, that helps our job immensely.
Oh,
It makes
yeah.
it so much more enjoyable. If someone actually gives a shit and wants to
yep.
make a difference, or is like kind even, that's huge. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think you did have a really good mentality after everything. They had you had to walk a few times a day at least. They would help you with that. Mind you, you're still on a bunch of medications to help. Like you went into AFib quite a few times after the surgery, which is a common thing, but you were on medication for that. You were on pain meds for a while.
Blood
all
thinners,
kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Lasix to remove the water. I was on all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. You also had to do breathing exercises because you have to retrain your lungs.
Yep.
Which I remember that being pretty difficult. I remember you going through a lot of shortness of breath and just the breathing being tough. But yeah, it was a hurry up and wait, go through the process, and I think you did really good for what you had just gone through.
Yep. I was in the hospital for a week, and they released me home, and my wife was able to be here with me and take care of me day after day, and she picked up right where the nurses left off and made sure I was doing anything I needed to do. And
Well, back up a little bit. Before you even got home, we were talking about where you would sleep and this, that, and the other. And Caleb,
yeah, because I couldn't lay flat.
he went out
yeah,
and
that's
got
a
got Kevin a recliner, and that was a godsend right there.
Yep.
Yeah, that is something you need to plan for. If you know that's coming or you have to do that, I think that'd be a huge.
Yep. You have to have somewhere you can't lay down flat. There's no way. In fact, it was a good. I was home probably a week before I even tried to lay down on a flat bed. And I took a nap on my bed, but I wasn't very comfortable, so I had to get back up, and it took a while. It was probably a good month before I could really go lay down in bed.
Yeah.
And sleep good.
And the recliner, like the elevation, I think helps. One, your breathing and everything, like it just kind of helps you sleep more comfortably, but also the getting in and out of bed, like you're still recovering.
Yeah.
So you need the ability to, like a power recliner is kind of what you need, like to help you stand up with ease. If you can't do that, just a regular recliner is nice, but like you have to have a recliner.
Yeah,
like
even though it's a regular one, if you're pulling that handle,
right,
that's too much.
Yeah,
you're
you
not supposed to do
can't
that.
do
So
that.
you got me electrical, and I could just go.
right, yeah,
that was amazing.
Which I feel bad
was a
for
godsend.
folks. Yeah, if there's folks out there that need that and they don't have the means to get that, I wish there was like a fundraiser or something we can help people with. But
Yes, if you know somebody who's getting ready to have open heart surgery, make sure they got a recliner that they can get in and out of when they get home, because they're going to need it.
yeah. That makes I feel like the recovery process go through a lot, and they tell you that at the hospital too. They're pretty intentional to be like, if you're gonna get something at home, make it that. Like, here's some like a commode and like walker and stuff like that to help you, but get a recliner.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, recovery time. They set you up with nurses to come in and see you here at home, help you with some like PT things, just general exercises, I think, to recoup strength, and just recover. And then you've had a lot of follow-ups with the cardiologist since then, of course. They tell you timeline after surgery. They give you kind of a timeline for recovery of when you're going to start feeling better.
They said in 6 months I'd feel like a new person. In a year I'd feel even more amazing and be completely recovered. And I can tell you that's true. I was in the hospital for a week. I was back to work in 3 months, which was, they said it'd be a minimum of 3 months, sometimes 4 or 5 months before you can get back to work. I actually, a couple of days shy of 3 months, went back to work because my job allows me to. It's not a real physical job, so I was able to do it. Then within like 4 months, I was feeling really good. At 5 months, I had a setback, a little incident where I had to go into the hospital. I thought it was sometimes more issues that I thought might have been heart related. But I got through that, and now we're at 8 months, and I feel great. I'm golfing. I'm walking the golf course, which I never used to do, even before the heart surgery. I'm feeling a whole lot better. So
Yeah.
a lot more energy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're golfing scramble today.
Going to that's not a scramble, just golfing with some friends today.
Yeah. And getting out a lot. I mean, you're doing a pretty big stent next weekend, or
Next weekend, I'm golfing 3 scrambles in 1 weekend.
yeah. So,
One of them being a night golf. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Which is awesome. I think golfing was, you did a lot of golfing beforehand, so to see that come back is probably, I'm sure, a huge relief. And kind of another reason it was kind of convenient that it happened when it did, because it was wintertime and the golf courses weren't open
Golf
really.
courses weren't open.
Yeah.
So my goal was to get better before golf season. So
Yeah.
I golf, and I did.
Yeah. Did your golfing get any better?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
But I have an excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am playing the senior tees now.
All right.
I'm 60 and I've had open heart. I think that qualifies
Yeah.
me to go to the senior tees.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Well, awesome. I mean, yeah. Well, Mom, what's your perspective post surgery? I mean, you were there for, I think you had a hard part after coming home, because there was a lot of pressure on you to maintain the home, maintain him, like help him with recovery. That was kind of all on you.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Oh my
going
goodness.
through?
Well, I had a store to run too.
Yes.
So the
yeah.
whole time I was thinking, at some point I was like, when he was in the first hospital, I was like so worried about my store because I was the only one running it. Then, it's when shit hit the fan and we realized how serious it was, I suddenly just didn't care. I didn't care at all. So I reached out to my vendors. I sent them like a mass text, and I said, this is what's going on. They knew it before then. I explained it. And I said, to be quite honest, I can't worry about the store, so we may have to close for a while. Well, I had a total of 3 of my vendors step up. One ended up not being able to do hours at the store, but 2 of them said, we don't want to close. We want to help you. Oh. So Carolyn and Samara, thank you so much. They stepped up, and when I had a chance, it was very hard to get away. I had Carrie stay here with Kevin so I could go train them on the register, and they learned it just like that. Yeah. And they ended up, each of them working 2 to 3 days a week. So for 3 months, they took over, and Carrie worked on Saturdays as well. And I didn't even have to worry about the store. Yeah. So that was such a blessing. And then Carolyn's boyfriend ended up building more booths at the store, Jay. I appreciate him as well.
Yeah, because we were in the middle of that construction project when I had the heart attack. So
yeah,
he stepped in. Thank you, Jay. He stepped in and took over and made sure they got done. So,
which I'm sure that has to be a big relief for you too.
Huge relief.
Yeah, I mean, you're both like, it's your store, but I mean, you're both responsible like for it, like it's your livelihood. So
that's the whole reason I had the heart attack. I didn't want to build those damn booths.
Yeah, real convenient timing again. Yeah.
No, but it ended up being such a blessing, and those 2 women still work there towards paying their booth rent because they're both vendors, like I said, and they work hours to pay towards their booth rent. And so I don't even have to be there as much.
Yeah.
So it's quite a blessing. But being a caretaker, there needs to be a whole different podcast for the caretaker, because it's a whole behind the scenes type thing. And so maybe we can do that another time. But
there's a lot that goes into that, because she not only had to worry about taking care of me and getting me better, she had to worry about her daily routine that she used to do, the shop and everything else. Yeah. She also had to worry about my daily routine, the things that I used to take care of, the bills, all that, mowing the lawn. Well, it's the winter time she wasn't mowing, but all that kind of stuff is she had to think of, and it was all on her shoulders for a while. So
it used to be us together, and then you
Yeah,
know, when
you physically couldn't do a lot of those things.
exactly.
So.
And mentally, I was in no shape to sit at a computer and pay bills or anything like that. So being a caregiver is no joke. It's something that you never trained for, unless you're obviously in a nursing facility or something. But it's not something you train for. It just hits you in life, and you got to jump in and do it. And it has its ups and downs, and it can be very stressful at times. I could tell at times your mom was stressed.
And I tried to hide it.
And she tried to hide it from me, but I could tell that she was very stressed. So I don't know how people do it that don't have somebody, single people that have to go through something like this, because I couldn't have made it without her, and I don't think she could have made it without me getting through all that stuff. So
yeah, they're definitely, that's something else I need to look into, is having a support group for caretakers.
Well, see, I think they do have. There's groups that they mentioned through the Heart House that were people that have gone through surgeries or open heart surgery in particular. You can meet. I don't know that you ever did that, but
I didn't.
Yeah. But
That was great that they have that option though, because
you really need people in your corner. I mean, that's again, I'm not having been through that myself. I couldn't imagine doing that without people to be there for you. Like even just to be there if you were in that hospital room and you didn't have people to visit, I'd be like, just bury me out back. Like, pull the plug now. Like, I couldn't imagine, but I think that made a big difference and made it easier on everybody, was that people were showing up, which was awesome. So, yeah. But if you had to give one, what would you say to people if they face open heart?
Never give up. It's not over till it's over. You always have hope, and you're going to go through dark times. I had a good friend of mine that worked with me, Keith. He had been through this surgery before, and he prepared me ahead of time. He said, look, you're going to go through some really dark time. It's going to be a mental battle as well as a physical battle. There's going to be days you feel like giving up, but don't give up. He says, you will get through it. And he just kept encouraging me that way. So I agree with him. Don't ever give up. There's always a possibility. Until your heart stops and you are gone, there's always possibilities.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, let me start taking.
Can we just end?
We'll stop recording, but we're good.
Yeah. So, that's the one big takeaway I would say. And then the other takeaway is never give up on your family. Your family is always there for you. And not that I was wanting to give up on them, but always be there for your family, and no matter what, prior to events like this, because it prepares you to be there for each other in an event like this. And I was so thankful that I had a close-knit family that came to my side through this whole thing to help us out.
Yeah. I was laughing a little bit just because the timing of the camera shutting off was like, never give up. A little ironic, but anyway. It's not over till it's over. So, Mom, what would be your if you could give some advice to a spouse or someone that's walking with their partner through that process, what would you say?
Just day by day, sometimes moment by moment, because not only did I have to take on everything, caring for him and myself, my home, you just kind of, I don't know, you tend to not you don't think about taking care of yourself as much, and you should never lose that. Go get your shower, go take a nap, just do the simple things. Right. But I think, and I know not everybody feels this way, but for me, it was my faith. I spent time in scripture, and I prayed a lot, and because there's times where after we were home, he'd be in bed sleep or in his chair, or once in a while you'd go lay down, but not very often. But I'd stand at his door listening. Is he still breathing? Because you go through this you know, there is a chance that they could still pass after the surgery and everything seemed to go well. So that was probably one of the biggest things that got to me. And, but yeah, take care of yourself, reach out to friends, depend on people, and keep the faith.
And take the help when it's offered. Yeah. You need it. You need it at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you get a good perspective of the frailty of human life.
Yeah.
How quickly you can lose it.
Yep.
And it makes it even sweeter when you come out on the other side.
Yep.
I think my big takeaway for everything was the moments that I really remember, and I think this is just who I am as a person, but also part of our family dynamic is to find laughter in those moments, because I think that helped alleviate a lot of things, and laughter inherently will be a stress reliever. It helps you feel better. Yeah. Scientifically, I think if you just smile, that boosts your mood. Even if you're feeling shitty, just do a fake ass smile.
Yeah, but don't make your dad laugh uncontrollably after he's had
that
kind of hurts.
I couldn't help part of that. So
that did happen, didn't it?
That did happen. I may have mixed up my wording a little bit and thought,
oh my gosh, I forgot all about that.
I thought sedation was seduction, and I I painted the nurses in a bad light.
How did you say that anyhow? Because you were still in the hospital.
Yeah, you were still getting procedures done, I think. Or no, it was beforehand. I had told him, we were talking through what it was going to be like after you came out, and I was like, yeah, you're going to come out intubated and seduced, or under seduction. Under seduction. Want to find out more about that? Come to one of my comedy shows. Talk about it a little bit.
Another time that was so funny was when you're in the hospital, you only have a gown on, and the nurse would come in. You remember, he needed help every time getting up out of the chair. Sometimes the gown would just fly right open in the back, and Caleb turned just in time.
Yeah. Well, I have a bit about that too. I was like, now I know that heart stuff, I need to take care of myself, because this is that's a genetic thing. And I was I kind of talk about the process a little bit on stage, and I was like, yeah, it's that's something I have to keep an eye out for. But the really devastating part was that ass is also genetic. That's coming down the pipeline for me, and I got to keep that in check. Oh my God, that's devastating. Anyway, love you.
Oh, that was so funny.
Anyway, yeah, thank you guys for doing this. I know you got to get going for golf, but I think it's important to talk about these things. And one, I wanted to have it documented. I think I learned perspectives that I heard that we hadn't talked about before from either of you guys. So I think it was really cool. I wanted to get Carrie on too, and it would have been fun to have Katie and Emily too. But
yeah, it would have been nice. Maybe at another time.
Yeah, we certainly could, and to talk about the recovery process even more and what that would be like if you guys are interested. But yeah, I really wanted to do this, so I appreciate you guys doing it. And
no problem.
Yeah. Thanks for taking it.
Yeah. Well, tune in for more episodes to come. This is kind of a temporary podcast scene until I get my podcast studio set up at the new place. But yeah, this will come out within the next week or two. So
sounds good.
It'll be a fun listen. And reach out if you have questions. I think you can comment on these posts, or I can try to facilitate conversations back. Or if you have more questions, we could talk about that in another episode. But yeah, reach out, find resources, especially if you're going through something like this, and just have people in your corner.
Yeah,
it's really important.
Definitely.
So,
definitely.
Go check out Mom's Store if you're ever in Fairborn, Ohio, or in the area. Shops on Central. Go check it out. It's a great store. There's so many cool things in there. I just bought a lot of stuff yesterday, but I'm actually really excited about that bourbon lamp.
Oh my
I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
And then I've got some shows coming up in August and September. Those are posted in my Linktree and on my website. Go check those out. Buy tickets for the Saratoga Comedy Festival, which is September 11th and 12th. And come on some comedy and laugh with us. Anyway, thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.